Again, may dumating na $100 million. One account. No justification, no legal, no trade, no services. Wouldn't that get up to you?
Well, if the systems are working, I mean, given our
we
present
assume
systems,
that they're working in your bank. Would it have reached you?
Yeah, give me a chance, Your Honor. Someone should really go down there and ask.
Not should. I want to ask you, would it have reached your level?
It depends, Your Honor. If it's a multinational company with, that reasonable level of business volume, I don't think it will reach me.
No, if it's a multinational company and this is in the normal process, I'm Shell Corporation, I have an RCBC account, I normally have transactions in the hundreds of millions of dollars a month, of course it's going to be not. But here I'm talking about a specific situation where it's an inactive or dormant account. It's got $500 in deposit. It suddenly receives $100 million.
Well, a perfectly working internal control system, I would hope it really does not need to go to a CEO. The control should kick in.
No, you're speaking in hypothetical terms. I'm asking you if $100 million had been deposited to the account of, I'll give you one name, La Grosas, would you have been alerted under your current process?
No, Your Honor.
You would not?
Yes.
$200 million, would you have been alerted?
Well, again, if the people feel that...
No, not if. Would you have been alerted under the circumstances?
Yeah, there's no policy written that it needs to go to me.
No, I'm not talking about... You're talking about judgment. You're talking about having trained your people to use their judgment, correct? Because a lot of these are judgment calls. So I'm asking you, what would their judgment be? May dumating $200 million, isang account, $500 on deposit, dormant. Wouldn't I run up to my boss and say, boss, what do I do with this?
Well, I'm hoping that, the compliance people and...
Would they have come up to you or not? Don't hope.
I would think that the group head and the compliance people should be able to solve that problem.
Themselves?
Yes, sir.
All right. If the amount were $400 million?
Well, if it's extraordinary or unusual, probably
how extraordinary can that be? How extraordinary do you want it to be?
It's really based on experience, Your Honor. I mean,
yes, and so let's be more specific. We're not sophisticated bankers, so we'd like to know what would be that warning sign that would alert your people to tell you that something fantastic is happening.
If it's beyond reason or beyond the ordinary course of the...
Would you consider $400 million within reason or beyond reason?
Your Honor, we just raised $400 million last year, right? And since it's going to RCBC, I don't think the banks would question something like that. So, if it's to a Mr. Juan de la Cruz who's a salaried employee, I think, it would raise alarm bells in the bank.
I'm talking about a dormant account with $500 US dollars suddenly receiving $400 million.
Yeah, well, the appropriate procedures would kick in, Your Honor, the STR report and things like that.
Yeah, I know that, but you're always talking hypothetically. I'd like you to tell me, would $400 million have alerted your boys to tell you, take a look at this?
I think eventually they will inform me, but I don't think...
Eventually?
Yes, I don't think they'll have to
inform me. If it were $800 million,
I think 800 is really out of whack, I mean...
You mean it's impossible?
Well, no, I mean, of course it will ring major alarm bells, right?
And you would be informed?
I think at the end of the day, they will inform me.
At the end of what day?
At the end of the day, when the remittance came in,
So if the remittance came in at 8 o'clock in the morning, you'll only find out at night.
based on our present systems, yes, sir.
Oh my. Well, at this point, Mr. Chair, with your permission, perhaps you'd like to...
Yes, yes. We have here a table. Would you hold this, please? This is a table of, as we all know, the amounts involved was $950 million. Okay? $81 million went through the system, went to RCBC. And another $20 million was the subject of a stop order by the Federal Reserve, which was on its way to Sri Lanka. Okay. We're talking about 35 payment instructions, totaling $951 million. Now, 5 payment instructions went through. This one covers the 30 payment instructions that did not go through. What is notable here is that all payment instructions were created on the same day, February 5, 2016. What time? They were created in all 30 payment instructions, totaling $850 million, is created in 2 seconds. 12 midnight and 51 seconds to 12 midnight, 51 minutes and 51 seconds, 12 midnights, 51 minutes to 52 seconds. 2 seconds, 850 million payment instructions were created. Now, it's all stated here that the beneficiary bank or the bank to which the payment instructions were to be sent, the $850 million, all of it is in the name of RCBC. All of it, $850 million. And then from RCBC, the $850 million would have gone to the 5 fictitious accounts. Ralph Picache, Michael Cruz, Jesse Lagrosas, Alfred Vergara, and Rico Vasquez. 5 fictitious accounts, each having $30 million payment instructions, 30 or $20 million. 5. And then, after that, another 5 names, the same name. So it goes round and round by succession. Iniikot-ikot lang, succeeding names. So that is what we see, and that is what would have happened had the Federal Reserve Bank of New York if the Federal Reserve Bank of New York honored the payment instructions. Luckily, because of their diligence, they did stop these 30 payment orders. In fact, the Federal Reserve sent a telex or a message to the Bank of Bangladesh, and they were asking the following information. Number 1, they say, we would greatly appreciate if you could provide us with more information on these transactions. Specifically, please provide the following. Number 1, full information of the beneficiaries, Alfred Vergara, Jesse Christopher Lagrosas, Michael Cruz, Enrico Velasquez, Ralph Picache. Then they go on. They said, please include their occupation, connection to the originating party, which is the Bank of Bangladesh, and a website reference if possible. Then number 2, what is the professional relationship, if any, between the 5 individual beneficiaries? Then number 3, full details of the underlying goods or services covered by these payments. I suppose they suppose that these were for the purchase of goods or services. So they were asking details. And number 4, which is very intriguing, why are these payments that represent repayment of institutional loans being made to these individual beneficiaries? So in other words, they were wondering why a central bank is dealing with individual beneficiaries. As we all know, central banks do not deal with individuals. So what is remarkable here is that had it gone through, it would have all 850 million or 951 million minus the 20 million for Sri Lanka would have all gone to RCBC and then into the accounts of the fictitious persons. That would be the line of reasoning that Senator Osmeña was trying to cull. Senator Osmeña?
Mr. Tan.
I think in that case, Your Honor, it will elicit a different reaction from the people below.
Different reaction. What
Well, because
reaction
the
would
amount
that
is so outrageous. I mean, it's like a credit card that averages $1,000 a month, then all of a sudden it's charging 100,000. You know, it will be a different reaction from the team.
That's right, Mr. Chairman, as Mr. Tan. As a matter of fact, this was a credit card that didn't even average $1,000 a month. It averaged $0 a month. So that's why the committee wanted to learn from you what would have triggered a stop payment on the part of RCBC. And I guess you're saying that it would only have come up to, all in all, $950 million. Pag dumating dun, mag-i-stop ka na ng payment.
No, Your Honor. Even in the 81, we had hold orders that were implemented, right?
Which 81?
The
You mean the original
the
deposits?
original, yes,
You had hold orders.
yes.
But you see, the money went through. And we're trying to find out when will you act to stop the payment. And obviously, you said, well, $81 million, it's up to my lower guys to determine whether it should come up to me.
Talk about the two hold orders.
But at $850 million, it will definitely be brought to your attention. And you're not telling the committee whether you would have executed a stop payment or if you would have allowed the $850 million to go through because the law does not allow you to stop the payment. We'd like to know. Would you like to respond, Mr. Tan?
Well, I'd like to discuss details of what happened in that specific transaction, Your Honor. But again, because of bank secrecy, we cannot disclose.
No,
the details,
we're not talking about a specific transaction any longer, Mr. Chairman, because these amounts did not go through. They were held by New York, $850 million US dollars, all supposed to have been transmitted to RCBC in the same manner that the first 4 accounts were from New York. Kaya tinatanong ho ng komite, kailan ba kayo mag-a-action? When will you take action under your internal rules?
Those transactions were subjected to the end-of-day review, Your Honor.
End of day.
Yes.
So pag dumating ng 8 o'clock in the morning, itutuloy ng branch manager mo yan. And the money would have been long gone. Goodbye. Before it comes to you at the end of the day. That's very poor compliance.
There's a person from head office that looks at end-of-day transactions, Your Honor. And
Kaya nga
sometimes,
tinatanong ko if you wait till the end of day, the money would have been remitted already. That's exactly what happened in this case.
that it's
Ms. De Guito got the notice around 10:50, 11:20, 11:30, 11:40, 11:50. Tinuloy and sent it to PhilRem.
There are supposed to be two controls. One is money arrives at the branch. The branch manager's job is to do their KYC procedures and policies, right? Then at the end of the day, at the settlements department, someone looks at the summary of transactions, then they start noticing big transactions like this one.
Uy, mali. Get it back. There was an order from AMLA, pero it was too late. We were, how much did we freeze there? $60,000? Please don't nod your head. You'll have to speak into the mic, Ms. Abad.
Your Honor, just around, as far as the 4 account holders are concerned, just around $68,000 US dollars.
$3,000?
$68,000
$68,000
were
Ayun.
left.
Tinan mo?
with those 4 accounts.
You froze it. You froze $68,000, but you wouldn't freeze $81,000. That's what you're telling us. Yes.
Your Honor, actually, that was a judgment call that we made, notwithstanding the limitations that we had under the law. We decided to just return the funds.
Kayo naman, oh.
It's true, Your Honor.
You won't stop 81 million, but you're so proud that you stopped the $68,000.
Your Honor, as we explained, when a request for freeze came in, and I believe I explained it relative to the William Go accounts last time, we sent notice to the branch to at least find out what it was about, to find out more. It wasn't a freeze order from a court. And unfortunately, within 30 minutes, the branch manager implemented the deposits to the William Go account. So that's really what happened, Your Honor.
Yes, that's why what I was asking, hypothetically, if you had learned and you had been alerted of this,
Yes.
would you have put a stop to it? Even if it's a temporary stop for 1-2 days until you can
Yes.
validate, no?
Yes.
Kasi if you had done your homework, you put a stop to this, siguro in less than 2 hours, you'll find out that those 4 accounts were fake.
Yes. Your Honor, in that case, it would be elevated to me, and probably I would have made a judgment call to stop it. Despite the possibility of being sued by the account holders, it would have been elevated to me, and I would have made that judgment call.
We are recommending to Mr. Tan to appoint you as Executive Vice President of, in charge of compliance. In any case, Mr. Chairman, we would like to inform the committee that we received this information from the Bank of Bangladesh through the kind efforts of Ambassador Gomez, and if we have an official transmit a letter from Mr. Badrul Hake Khan, General Manager of the Accounts and Budgeting Department, Bangladesh Bank, in parentheses, Central Bank of Bangladesh. And they verified that they sent us this list with the amounts involved, the names, the date, the account numbers. I'd like to submit this to the committee for its records.
Yes, at this point, we'd like to acknowledge the presence of the Ambassador of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, His Excellency John Gomez. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Your Excellency. Thank you. Okay. Let us now go to Mr. Kim Wong. Mr. Kim Wong,
Your Honor, pwede pa po ako magbigay ng open statement ko?
Oh, sige. Hindi naman masiguro masyado mahaba, no?
Hindi naman po.
Okay. Kasi mas gusto namin yung ikwento mo yung kung ano nangyari. Pero please proceed. Go ahead, go ahead.
Thank you po. Ako po si Kam Sin Wong. Kim Wong po ang tinawag sa akin ng mga kaibigan ko po. 15 years ago, naimbestigahan na din ako ng Senado. Pero hindi po ako ang Kim Wong na nilinig sa drugs. Sa katunayan, hindi po ako nakasuhan at wala din po negative findings ang Senado sa akin po. Nandito po ako para sabihin ang aking nalalaman sa issue ng money laundering na iniimbestigahan ng inyong committee. Marami po akusasyon laban sa akin. At sa maraming malalaki tao nandito ako para sabihin ang totoo. At sabihin ang aking nalalaman. Itong negosyo namin sa casino, meron po kami rules. Kailangan masabi ng totoo, kahit anuman mangyari. Una, wala akong kinalaman sa pagpeke ng bank documents para pumasok ng pera sa bansa. Hindi ko alam ang pinagmulan ng $81 million. Pangdalawa, dalawang foreigners ang nagpasok ng $81 million. Isa sa kanila ay matagal na labas-pasok sa Pilipinas at kilala junket agent at high roller. Pero makatulong sa mga investigador, ilalagay ko sa isang sealed envelope ang kanilang pangalan at kopya ng passport at isasubmit ko sa committee. Pangtatlo, si Maya ang nagpeke lang sinasabing 5 bank accounts. Isang foreigner lang po ang ninifer ko kay Maya. Meron po akong pangalan at litrato po. Pang-apat, si Maya at Firem ang gumawa ng lahat ng paraan para mailabas ang pera sa bangko. Pang-lima, lumabas ang freeze order, pinigil ang paglaro ng mga players sa Midas at Soler. Sa aking pagkakaalam, may natitira more or less 40 million pesos sa Midas, more or less 100 million po sa Soler. $4.63 million nakalagay sa isang junket sa Soler at ang mga more or less $70 million ay hindi nakarating sa casino at sa mga foreign players. Pang-anim, sa kabuuan $81 million na sinasabi ipinasok sa RCBC, more or less $63 million ang pumasok sa Soler at Midas Casino. Ang balanse, more or less $70 million, sa pagkakaalam ko po, ay nakifirem. Maraming salamat po. Handa po ako sagutin ang inyong mga katanungan.
Sandali po. Sinabi mong 17 million dollars
17 po. 17 po.
nasa PhilRem.
Opo.
Okay. Una, punta mo tayo, Mr. Kim Wong, punta mo tayo sa yung pagbukas ng accounts, pakikwento naman, saan nangyari ito at kailan nangyari?
Palagi po ako kinukulit ni Maya para mag-open ng account sa RCBC. Dahil wala naman po ako negosyo sa RCBC eh. So, isang araw nakita ko siya, nagkita kami, sabi ko, kung gusto mo, mayroon ako player, may utang sa akin, gusto magbukas ng account. So, May, more or less, may, hindi ko po alam, lumating yung playa ng 10, siguro 11 o 12 ng May 2015, pumunta ako si Maya sa office ko, sa Maidas po.
Si Maya pumunta sa office niyo?
Opo. 4 po sila. Yung 3 po, nasa labas. Ako po, tsaka yung junket ko po, ay nasa loob ng office.
So, sa loob ng kwarto, 3
Opo
lang
po.
kayo?
Opo.
Ikaw, si Miss Maya Diquitos, at saka yung,
Junket ko po.
yung junket operator.
Opo, yung sinasabi ko po, nakasil po na sa envelope. Yung
Sealed
password.
envelopes.
Opo.
Okay. Bago nun, by the way, I'd like to inform everyone in the committee that Bloomberry has submitted a report. Is Bloomberry around? Yes, submitted a report to the committee, and I'm instructing the COMSEC to reproduce the copies with the request of Bloomberry to keep everything, the identities confidential.
Your Honor, our request is to keep the confidentiality of the junket operator. We believe the committee should expose the name of the, Ding Xixi, the guy who brought in the funds, and the 18 players who played the non-negotiable chips that were purchased out of the funds that we received from PhilRem, Your Honor.
Okay then. Pinangalanan na yung pangalan. Do you confirm sino ba itong mga to?
Ito po yung malaki junket operator po.
So sino yung kasama mo sa kwarto na kasama ni Maya?
Yung sana ipapangalan ko po dyan.
O sige, for now, John, para matuloy yung kwento. Sige, pakikwento ano nangyari.
So,
Sandali lang.
opo.
Bakit hindi mo masabi ang pangalan nung junket operator? Bakit kailangan ilagay mo sa envelope at nakasealed at ibibigay mo sa committee?
Sasabihin ko po, kung yan ang request nyo po.
May kailangan.
Opo.
Bakit pa?
Okay, pakisabi na lang para matapos na.
Opo, sir.
Sandali lang. Sino, meron bang nagsabi sa'yo na kailangan ilagay mo sa sealed envelope yung mga pangalan?
Opo, kasi po,
Sinong nagsabi?
may kausap po ako ng mga maghahanap po sa mga tao nito. Ang gobyerno po natin sa Pilipinas, sana may tago para mahanap po nila. Pero kung gusto niyo sabihin ko, sasabihin ko po.
Di sabi mo, dapat sinabi mo doon sa immigration na huwag ninyong palabasin itong mga tao nito. Kung nandito.
Supposedly po, dapat hindi po.
Yung mga tao.
Supposedly po, dapat hindi po nakalabas. Kasi po, nung March 7 po, sinabi ko po sa abogado ko po, kausapin ng AMBLA, baka makatulong kami. Nung wala naman dispenso AMBLA, so yung Soler, March 10, hinuli niya lahat ng tao. Lahat ng kwarto, lahat ng pera chips, hinuli ho nila. Kaya lang, wala naman po kami magawa. Kaya nakaalis ho lahat.
Sige. Teka muna. Let's put things back in perspective. Umpisa tayo doon sa pagbukas ng account. Doon muna tayo.
Hindi po, gusto niya po ibuksan o hindi?
Sabihin mo na. Yun nga, sasabihin mo kung sino yung kasama mo doon sa kwarto. Sabihin mo na.
Sabihin mo na sa publiko para malaman kung sino yung mga tao na yan.